Hello everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. I hope everyone is doing well. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's free. It really helps out the channel a lot. My help with search and rescue, research, and getting back into the field. Today's video is a case I started working on in the middle of the summer as per the request of several of you guys that live in Canada. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the narrating because I got sick, so I wanted to do this video. It is a very, very odd case, not to mention one of the largest search and rescue operations that has ever taken place in all of Canada. We're going to be discussing the disappearance of Kevin Reimer, who disappeared on June 29th, 1979. He was with his family. They had traveled to the Elk Island National Park. I'm going to have maps and pictures up, of course. The family lived in close by Edmonton, roughly 25 kilometers away. Here is a picture of where the park is in Alberta. The park is considered safe. The family had been there a couple times before. They weren't really big campers, but they liked to do it on occasion. What started out as a couple-day camping trip turned into an absolute nightmare. Nothing could have prepared them for what was about to happen. The park lies in a forested region. It has several bodies of water. There are some public campgrounds. There are, however, lots of wild animals, including bison, bears, various endangered species. This is the main road that the family took in. They were able to get in at the campground, set up their campsite. Everything was seemingly going well for the family. Everyone was happy. Kevin was 9 years old at the time, but according to his parents, he was very athletic. He was very outgoing and active. That said, he had very little experience in the woods and he didn't know how to swim at this time. It was roughly noon on that June 29th of 1979 when his parents got to work making lunch. Kevin was there playing with his brothers and sisters. Then all of a sudden, when they turned around to feed the kids, Kevin was nowhere to be seen. When they asked his brothers and sisters, they had not seen where Kevin went and had no idea what had happened to him. They were camped in this area. At the time, there was a playground. That's where Kevin seemingly went missing from. Kevin was only wearing a pair of swim shorts and sneakers. At first, his parents thought there's no way he could have wandered off too far. They knew that he wouldn't have just wandered into the forest by himself. Unfortunately, after searching in and around the area, there was no sign of him, and that's when panic really set in. They immediately went around to all the other campers or people in the area asking if they had seen Kevin. They immediately found some of the park wardens. That's what they call their rangers. They told them what had happened. The park warden said that this would be solved very quickly. There's no way this boy could have gotten far. They too had no luck locating Kevin, so they immediately contacted the RCMP. The RCMP immediately sent multiple cars and agents down to the park. They brought their team of bloodhounds. They thought for sure that since this call had been made so soon after the boy's disappearance, that the bloodhounds would have no trouble tracking him down. They took the bloodhounds to the area that Kevin was last seen, and the bloodhounds just sat down. It seemed like they were unable to follow a scent. The RCMP thought maybe it was because there was other animals in the area. They tried moving the bloodhounds in other areas, but they just were unable to pick up any scent. Here's a picture of some of the initial searchers that were going out looking for Kevin. These pictures are all from 1979, so please bear with me. Some of these other pictures of the park, some of these wooden boards and bridges weren't there at the time, but this is an area of the park that they were very close to. You can see there's a body of water, a swamp-like area that leads to a forested area. This is a picture of some of the RCMP officers trying to search through that very dense swamp-like area. This was also peak time for mosquitoes and other bugs. This, coupled with the swampy terrain, made it for a difficult search, but they kept on pressing on. They were searching for over a week and they still had not found Kevin, and no signs of him either. They actually contacted a local minimum security prison. The prison sent over 100 inmates to help with the search and rescue. The people in the community, the family, everybody was pulling together. This is the first time I've ever covered a case where prisoners actually were involved in a search and rescue. All the authorities said that it really brought out the best in them. They were not violent offenders. Even with this added manpower, they still had no luck finding Kevin. The family was becoming more and more desperate and upset because they wanted more help. They wanted the RCMP to get the military involved. They had searched over 35 square kilometers of the planned 42 square kilometers. The whole park is roughly 182 square kilometers. Later, that Saturday, July 7th, the family got their wish and Canadian forces arrived to help. The soldiers were members of the Lord Strathcona's Horse Company of Calgary. They not only brought in ground teams, they brought in helicopters. They also brought in special dive units, pictured here. They were starting to search the various bodies of water. Sadly, even with all these extra efforts, bringing in divers, the helicopters, what was accumulating to over thousands of man-hours, they still came up with no clues and had not been able to find Kevin. After 11 days, the RCMP officially called off their search for Kevin Reimer. Of course, the family was livid. They wanted them to keep searching. The family did, however, get more volunteers, other people to come and help them. They were able to contact an American tracking specialist, this gentleman, Tom Brown Jr. He was a very famous tracker. He had found over 65% of the people that he was brought in to help locate. He put all his efforts, expertise, and resources into finding Kevin. However, even with all of his knowledge and past experience, he was unable to find Kevin either. He did, however, come up with a hypothesis. Also, he did find some clues that he thought could be linked to Kevin's case. He found some footprints that were made by a child's Kevin's size. He also found a tuft of hair. At the time, due to forensic limitations, these could not be linked back to Kevin. This man, Tom Brown Jr., he said that based on the scene, based on what he found, he believed that Kevin was taken out of the park by someone else in a vehicle. Kevin's parents were also quoted in saying, "There are only two possible explanations for his disappearance. He either went into the forest with some teenagers, or someone that he trusted or felt he could trust was picked up and taken out of the park, probably in a vehicle." At the time when the whole search finally concluded, over 15,000 hours of search and rescue, volunteering, authorities had been put into trying to find Kevin. Yet they still had no idea where Kevin was, and aside from what Tom Brown Jr. came up with, they had no clues to follow either. The next part of the story is really kind of unknown because it can't be confirmed. Officially, I couldn't find any records that Kevin was ever found. However, according to a Reddit user that had made several posts claiming to be Kevin's sister, said that 10 years after he disappeared, his body was found on another side of a large fence that had been put up to keep elk from coming into that part of the forest. I was able to find the post, and a couple things about it struck me as odd. She wrote that the family was contacted and told this. I found the wording of it and just the whole sentence to be a little odd. If she really was the sister, why wouldn't she have said, "Our family was contacted by the RCMP and this is what they told us"? Also, in speaking to authorities and people in the park and that were familiar with this case, they said that it would have been impossible for him to get onto the other side of that fence due to its height. The Reddit commenter also said that this is why they didn't search that area of the park, because they thought there was no way that a 9-year-old could climb over that fence. I don't know what to believe here, because I've also found some other people that said the same thing, created Reddit posts or Facebook posts claiming to be a sister, but they had all been removed or deleted by the original poster. Given how large and extensive this search was with so many different agencies, I just thought it was odd that there wasn't one article in a newspaper that I could find. But that's not saying that that's not true, and if it is true, I'm so sorry for those last few parts of the story. Of course, either way, I'm so sorry for your loss, and my thoughts and prayers go out to Kevin, his family, his friends, all his loved ones. Wishing you peace and the cherished memories that you did have with your beloved Kevin. It was very difficult to find information on this case. The only information I could really get was by going into the old newspaper archives. If any of you are familiar with this case and do have some sort of solid evidence, please let me know, and I apologize about the mistake. However, if he was never found, it's possible that he's still out there alive with whoever took him out of the park. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your comments, your support, your feedback. I love hearing your comments and thoughts, so please let me know what your thoughts are on this case, or if you have any other information or have heard of it before. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. Please definitely let me know your thoughts on this case. It was definitely a very hard case to cover, but like I said, many of you from Canada had gotten in touch with me and wanted me to cover this case. I will have all my sources in the description, all the various newspaper articles if you'd like to do further reading. I did find one article from 1997 that briefly mentioned this case and said that his remains were found 10 years after he went missing. That's all it said though. There was no further information. I actually tried to contact that paper, also the person that wrote the article, because I wanted to find out their sources. I never heard back from the author. The newspaper actually did send a message that just said unavailable, so I just have no idea. Either way, just such a devastating loss for the family. Also, many people will often comment that people only disappear when they're alone, but that's not true. I've covered dozens of cases of usually adults when they're in groups of 2, 3, or more. People just disappear right in front of their eyes, or they turn around for a second and they turn back and the person is gone. Very similar to what happened to Kevin in this case. If you have any video or case suggestions, just send me a comment or email me. Alright everyone, see you in the next one.